Alicia Sanford, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about booking and parties today. So, whether you're a brand new consultant, or if you are an experienced consultant, or if you are long term and you need to get a re-jump on your business, this call is going to cover a little bit about all different ways of booking and how to get started, how to get restarted, and how to continue your whirlpool of bookings as a consultant with Pampered Chef. So the very first thing I would like to talk about and who I would like to talk to are brand new consultants. So if you have just recently joined, this next little bit is going to be for you. So the very first thing that I want to address is that as a Pampered Chef consultant who wants to make a specific amount of income, we do like to encourage you to book 4 parties a week. At least. The reason why is because out of those 4 parties, one, the average party system is going to be that one is going to do really super well, may even hit $600 to $1,200, $1,300 or more. Another one is going to do okay. A third one may possibly qualify with $200 in sales, might not. And a fourth one is likely to ghost you or cancel. And in this day and time, some things happen. We have emergencies, we do have things go on, and we do sometimes receive what we call being ghosted. And that's where a person says, yes, I'm going to book a party, and then they just kind of disappear. So with that in mind, that is the whole reason why we encourage you to book 4 parties a week. That way you have an average or a hope that at least several of those, 2 to 3 of those, will do really well and be able to provide you with some income for that month, for that week. So with all of that said, how do you do that? How do you get 4 parties a week booked? So as a new consultant, you're going to start out by sending 30 messages a day to people on your friends list. So you will actually go to your personal Facebook page and you will start at the letter A, and you will work your way down, sending every single person a message that sounds a little bit like something like this. Hey, Susan, did you see that I have recently started my Pampered Chef business? Or maybe you didn't see that I started my Pampered Chef business, and I am looking for some hosts to spoil with some host rewards. So I was wondering if you would like to partner with me the week of whatever week it is that you're setting up for. And let's have a good time in a Facebook group and get you some discounts and possibly free products from Pampered Chef. So you can use that, personalize it, make it sound like yourself. If you're not a hey girl type person, you're not going to want to say hey girl. Maybe you say, hey lady, or you say, hey friend, or you just want to address them by their first name. Hey, Julia, however you want to do that. So make it sound like you. If they feel like it is a copy and paste, then it potentially may not be as attractive for them to want to book with you. However, if you're coming from a genuine place of wanting to do them some good and do you some good while making some extra income, then absolutely. The one thing you do not want to do, unless it is a sister, cousin, best friend, mom, someone you're super, super close with, is you do not want to use desperation language. So you don't want to be reaching out to Sally, who you haven't talked to in 10 years, but she's on your friends list because you went to school together. And you don't want to go out and say, hey, Susan, I need you to help me get my business started. Let's get some bookings, let's get you booked on my calendar. Help me. People want to book with you because you offer a service. You offer a very good service at that. I don't know if you've had much time to really dive into all the host rewards someone can get, but it's a good bit. And if they have a super great $1,000 party, it's a significant amount of free product and discounted products that they can achieve. So you definitely want to make sure that you stay away from desperation language and make sure that you are using language that reflects what you can do for them as a consultant and for them as a host. like I said, if you're just trying to get started, and if it's your sister, best friend, mother, or anyone like that, absolutely reach out and say, hey, I just started a Pampered Chef business. Can you help me get started by hosting an online party? I would love to spoil you with free products or discounts and see what we can get to. But I'm just looking for just a few people to help me out. So also, don't forget, you can text people because we do have texting parties. You can email people. We have email parties. You can do Zoom parties, fundraisers, shared rewards, all different kinds of parties we have to offer. So if something's not working for someone, if somebody says, I have so much Pampered Chef in my kitchen, I don't know what to do with it all. Offer them a shared rewards or a fundraiser at that point. So I will share there is a how to book parties document that you can reach out and receive as well. Or if you're in a training, it's most likely being provided for you with this training. So the next thing I want to talk about is tracking. So as you're sending out these messages, whether it's on your Facebook friends list, whether it's via text or email, I want you to make sure that you're tracking who you're talking to. And this is super, super important. The reason why is because you're not going to prejudge who you send these messages to. So if you're going down your Facebook list and you omit Gwen for some reason, don't do that. Go ahead and send that message to them, because I promise you, the people that you think are going to book a party for you most likely will not. And those that you never thought would say yes will actually say yes. And it's just an invite. It's just a message, an offer to host. So if they say no, it's not the end of the world. So make sure you keep that in mind. So send it to everybody. But when you're sending these messages, you're going to want to track. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to create 4 columns. In the very first column, you're going to put down their name. In the second column, you're going to put down a check mark or the date that you sent a message. I personally prefer the date that I sent a message on there. That way I can keep up with my follow-ups and everything like that moving forward. The next thing is their response. And I probably should have made this column bigger because sometimes the responses are longer. And then the last column is going to be for follow-ups. Did you do the follow-ups? So you can put 2 checks in there. We'll get to follow-ups here in just a little bit. But this way you can go back and look and see, did so-and-so, you sent Susan a message on October the 1st and she did not respond. So you are going to do a follow-up and then a second follow-up. So, or she may have said, absolutely not. I don't care anything about Pampered Chef and I don't want to host a party. Okay, we're going to put a big fat no there. But that way, you know, when you go back later that she gave you a response. Okay, so that's how you're going to track these. This page should be full plus 2 or 3 more if you're within your first 90 days by the time you're done. So those are the columns. So let's go ahead and talk for just a minute about a follow-up. What is a follow-up? That is when you send a message to someone, and whether they open that messenger and looked at it or not, you're going to check back in with them 24 to 48 hours later. Here's why. I don't know about any of you, but I'm a mom. And there have been many times when my children were smaller that I was walking through the grocery, someone sent me a text or a message, I opened up the message, and then my child tried to jump out of the basket. Or something happened over here, or I was on a phone call and I saw it and I accidentally opened the messenger and never read it. So many times people have messaged me and come back to me and said, hey, did you see my message? And I'm like, oh goodness, I'm so sorry. I did see your message. I just forgot to reply. Yes, I would love to host a party. Or no, now is not a good time for me. So that follow-up actually gives them the opportunity to respond to you. So make sure your follow-ups are kind and just light and airy, and you're just checking back in. That may sound something like, hey, Susan, I know people get busy and you may not have been able to respond the other day, but what do you think about hosting in October? Or what do you think about setting up an online party? Can I pencil you in? So that's an example of a follow-up. Then if you still don't have a response, what I do is 3 to 5 days later, I go back in and I say, hey, Facebook has been so crazy lately. it's not been showing people my messages. So I don't want you or your host to miss out on this opportunity. Could you please scroll up and see and let me know what your thoughts are about hosting a party? And then at that point, usually most people will respond by then. If they don't, bless, release, move on, and go about your way. So that's how you're going to work through your entire friends list to get at least 4 parties a week booked for the next 6 weeks. Okay, so part 2 of this call, I want to go over systems a little bit. As you begin to book parties, it is very important that you start off very strong with your systems. And we have systems in our team, in our organization, in our uplines organization that we can provide you with or give you that are systems for keeping up with your bookings. The first one is to make sure, again, you're always tracking your contacts. The second one is to make sure that you have some kind of daily task sheet, whether that is using Google Task, or if you're a pen and paper kind of person and you want to write it down on a calendar, the things that you're supposed to do every day. Or like myself, I have a daily task sheet that is through Google Sheets. For right now, I'm going to screen share and I'm going to show you an example of that, and I do not mind sharing. So 1 second. Oh, let me make sure that that is screen sharing the appropriate thing. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So this is an example of a daily task list. So I have on the top the very 1 week that I'm doing things. So for example, on Monday, any template edits I do. On Tuesdays, I make sure I send the host coaching message. You can set this up as a checklist however you would like to do. So there's also down here in my existing parties where I send RSVP messages. I can check that off as I get them going. And you can really put anything in here that you want. So today, maybe I need to add up, do my follow-up messages, anything like that. And then every day, all you have to do is remember to open up this shareable daily task list. Make your own copy by going to File, Make a Copy, and that will put that in your own Google Sheets, or you can type in whatever you want to and print this out if you're a pen and paper kind of person. So that is something that I open up every single day. I have my very own copy, and I open it up every single day, and it has every task that I'm supposed to do. So whether I'm supposed to message people, I'm supposed to do follow-ups, send out my RSVPs, which I'll cover here in just a little bit. Whatever it is, I'm able to open up that one thing every day and make sure and check it off. Do you know how satisfying it is when you've done all of your daily tasks and you see all those little check marks on the side and you're able to go, yes, I did everything I was supposed to do today. So it definitely keeps some organization. Again, you can print that off, or you can use it as an electronic sheet and make copies of every week and have that on your computer or your laptop. It is also accessible by phone. So the next thing I want to go over is a little bit about how I keep up with my bookings throughout the week and how I keep up with who all I've contacted. So one of the things that I do is I'm a pen and paper gal. So I have a sheet that every week, a notebook that I pull out. And as I book parties, I just write their name down. And sometimes, let me get back here to a better color-coded one. So as I book parties, and mine looks a little messy, it's because this is my worksheet. This is my whole system for as I book parties, keeping up with them. So as I book parties, I put their name down here. And then in parentheses, I put down the host name. And then I put down the options I gave them, and then I circle which one they chose. Also over here, I have 3 little check mark things, and you can see, so the first one is if they gave me their info. So when you get their phone number, their email, and their shipping address, I check mark that. The second one is when I record it in my weekly booking sheet, and I will show you an example of that. And the third check mark is when I've entered it into Consultants Corner, because it's not a booking until you enter it into Consultants Corner and it's able to be seen in there. Now you may ask, why are these color coded? Why are these highlighted? That's because I may have a busy week and I'm just writing down names as they say yes, writing down the host name. So I'll color code, I'll highlight. So the green is Cindy Jones. So as you can see, Cindy Jones had Faith book here and she had someone else book down here. That just gives me a visual, because I'm a visual kind of person. How many parties from that particular person are currently booked. So that's how I do that. So what I was talking about, a sheet, as far as keeping up with sheets, and you may say, oh, she has a lot of papers. I do, but I'm also an extremely organized kind of person. So if you're needing organization, then these are definitely tools that you're going to want to use. So what I do is I have a printout, and I will share it with you as well. But this is a printout. I'm going to screen share in just a second. And I put the date at the top. I make sure I book 10 parties out, and I have them numbered here. And in the little columns, I'm going to go ahead and screen share this. Let me put this over here and decrease the size of this. There we go. All right. Where's my Zoom? Share screen. Okay, so this is an example of this sheet, and you can, again, click on File, make a copy, and create your own copy. And if you're an electronic type person, you can type in here. But basically, I print mine off. But you would just put in here, say, Victoria Smith. And then she actually booked from Sydney Train. We'll just make up a name. So I put them in there, and mine is handwritten, but I put them in there. And then when I do my 2-week reach out, I put in how many catalogs that I'm sending them. So say Victoria wanted to. And then when I make their Facebook group, I can check that box. When they start inviting, I can check that box. And when I put up my Post My Party, which is my posting app, I can check that box. So this is actually a sheet for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks at a time, I can view that. And then as you can see, I staple mine all together. And then as I go through and book parties, I can just put them on these sheets for every 2 weeks. So that is a host weekly sheet that I like to use. And then there is also a sheet that I use for each host the week of the party. So this is that sheet, and I will show you that sheet as well. Share screen. This is this sheet, and what that is you can put in your host name. So we'll say Victoria Smith. And then when she has been invited to her group and she starts inviting, I can check mark that box. I check on Sundays to see how many people she has invited. So whatever day, you can change that to be whatever day. And so say she's invited 200 people, then that lets me know. And then you can do a slash and say 25 have joined already. On Monday, I check that again. So maybe she's invited 300 people now, and now 35 people have joined. An EB is just a column where I do early bird gifts, so I can put in there how many early bird gifts I've given. And then this is if you do the welcome post in your party groups, which everyone should, because that tags everybody. You'll want to do that. And then this is for MHP or THP. This all stands for Monday host post. So if my host make their post on Monday, I check mark that box. If they make their host post on Tuesday, et cetera, et cetera. If somebody gets all these boxes checked, I have an offer where I give them a gift from me on their host order. So that may look a little something like this. So right now I'm in this week's parties, so they're checking off the boxes. So that I do have verbiage in my host coaching that says, if you complete and make all of your host posts, I will add a gift from me. So bookings are like, I like to use the example of a whirlpool in this business. So you know when a whirlpool gets going and it gains that momentum and you're like, yes, it's going. And then something comes in and stops it. And you're like, oh crud, like how do I get it going back? You know how it's harder if you're in a pool and you're trying to create a whirlpool, and it gets harder if you stop. You have to start all over again and get that momentum going back. But if that whirlpool continues to move, you are constantly progressing and moving forward with your business. So with these organization tools and daily tasks and staying on top of doing things every single day, then you are more likely to keep your whirlpool of bookings going. And at all times, your bookings are super, super important. As you recruit, recruits will come and go. Some people don't stick around. Some people stick around and excel. But as long as you have a strong booking schedule, you will always keep moving forward with your business, no matter who comes in and out of your team. So the moment you decide not to do your daily task and your whirlpool slows down, that's when your business will start to run backwards. And we don't want that to happen. So there's many different ways that you can keep your whirlpool going. So I'm just going to talk very shortly about those different ways. There are documents that can be provided that walk you through the steps of all of these different ways of keeping your whirlpool going. The very first one is, of course, your friends list as a new consultant. The second one will be, as you start running parties, it's vital that you start booking parties from parties. This is how you get out of your friend zone. This is how you get into other states and other scenarios and groups of people to continue booking parties from parties. A lot of times I'll have a host come back and ask me, oh, how do you know Tracy? I'm like, oh, I don't. I've actually booked a party from hers, just like I booked your party from hers. And so I get to know people all across the country, and it's a super fun job because of that. So that's how you get booking parties from parties. You want to keep that going. Now, with that said, how do you book parties from parties? There's multiple ways. Every consultant has a different way of doing things, and every consultant sometimes will utilize multiple ways for booking parties. One of those is what they call the Everybody Wins. So we do have a document that talks about how to do the Everybody Wins. That's where you can do something like make a post in your group and tag 10 to 15 people and say, it's Wow Wednesday or it's Thankful Thursday. You can make up whatever kind of day you want to, and then tag those people in that party group and then send them a message. And there is a message on the documentation that you can use as an example, a guide or a starting point for that. So the Everybody Wins method by doing a post. There is also a method where you can go into the comments on interactives and say, hey, so-and-so, congratulations, you've won a party prize. Check your messenger here. And it has your m.me link. If you don't know what your m.me link is, make sure you reach out to your upliner director. They can get that to you. And then you can send them a message that says, hey, congratulations, you've won a party prize this week. I usually give an e-cookbook, or if you would like to use something different, like a taste bud sample or whatever it is that you would like to gift, you can. And you can say, but I would like to offer you the opportunity to upgrade your prize by booking a party in October or whatever month you're currently booking for. And then that is a conversation that you can carry on and get those bookings going. The second way is by RSVPing in your parties. What is an RSVP booking message? That's something that looks a little bit like, hey, Susan, so glad you joined the party this week. I appreciate your participation. If they participated, you might want to say something like, you were an awesome guest, or you were a rock star guest, and I love to party with people like you. Or if they didn't participate at all, you would just simply say, thank you for joining. I don't know if you ever thought about it before, but I would love to also facilitate a party for you where you can earn the discounts and the host rewards. May I pencil you in for October? Make sure your messages are short and sweet. People don't read extremely long messages a lot unless it's like a birthday message or something and you're explaining that. So I RSVP everybody. So if I've gone through and done my winners in my party groups, then I make sure that every other person in that party, you do not get out of a party of mine without receiving a booking message and a follow-up message. So that's how I keep my bookings heavy, and I keep them booked so far out. So you never know. Sometimes you have sleepers in your party that will actually come and they'll book a party. Maybe you didn't hear from them all week, but they'll book a party because they see that they can earn something, or they can earn discounts, or maybe you've offered them a gift on their host order and they can host and receive that stuff as well. So some other ways are running a fundraiser. Reach out to your local cat barn or veterinary office or rescue. Reach out to homeless shelters, reach out to community organizations, offer to facilitate an online fundraiser, and take them some catalogs, and you can let them know what those benefits of hosting a fundraiser, whether it's online or in person, with you as well. Another thing you can do, run a monthly shared rewards party in your VIP group. Send out customer connection emails. You sometimes have past guests that want to order things, but they don't want to host a party. And that's a great way to get sales as well, is by running maybe a host and guest appreciation. You can run a mass birthday party. Reach out to your upliner director to find out exactly the details on how to do any of those. You can also send birthday messages. So Ellington, our upline, actually is a huge advocate of sending out birthday messages. I recently started doing it myself. We do them a little bit differently. She runs individual birthday parties, and I run group birthday parties. So those can be done in various ways. You can do the birthday parties however you want. So she actually runs a birthday template, and she runs a birthday party for the individual. I actually reach out to everyone in the month that I'm doing birthday messages, and I ask them, tell them I see it's their birthday. I would love to give them a gift from me on their order. All they would have to do is join a group, invite at least 50 friends, and I will place a gift from me, a happy birthday gift from me, on their order that month. Now, what happens is if you have 10 or 11 hosts that say yes, they go in there, they all, say at least 6 or 7 of them invite at least 50 friends, and then a third or half of those actually join, then you have a large group of people to send booking messages to, RSVP, or do winner messages to. And then also, because you use the verbiage, I will place a gift on your host order, then most likely those people, those hosts are, and I run it as a shared rewards party, but most likely those people will place an order. Number one, they're getting a 25% discount and a gift from you. So, and usually they will do larger orders because they will place a $150 order or more because they know they're getting 25% off. They want that free shipping, and they're getting a gift from you for their birthday. So that has been working well for me lately. So those are other various ways that you can get bookings. Also, don't forget, always carry 3 catalogs with you at all times in your car. So many times I'll get in a conversation about my Pampered Chef business, and as I get into that conversation with them, they'll say, "Oh, bring me a catalog sometimes," and I can actually whip one out and go, "No worries, I have one now." And so I'm able to send that, hand them over a catalog immediately, and they're able to shop. If you're somebody that likes QR codes, you can place a QR code on a label, stick it on the back. I just have my name and my contact information on those catalogs, and then you can possibly reach out to them in the future for a booking. Also, one of the things that I wanted to chat about is know that a party is not a booking until it's in your consultant's corner. So whenever somebody says, yeah, sure, I'd be glad to pencil in a date, or I'd love to host, make sure that you get one, their phone number that you can text and a 2-week confirmation text. Two, you need their shipping address. That's just going to be required to run a party. So sometimes people say, well, why do you need my address? I tell them, first off, I'd love to mail you a catalog so that you can see what you're getting into and a host packet. Second, Pampered Chef is going to need to know who to ship their order to, and you're going to need that information in there when you go to place your host order or redeem your free products. Three, you're going to need their email address. All parties with Pampered Chef are connected via email address. So make sure that you get that as well. If they don't have an email address, you can use their phone number. So say it's 987-432-6574 @mytpc.com. That stands for thepamperedchef.com. So make sure that you have all of that information as well. So it's not a booking until it's in the consultant's corner. The last little bit that I want to talk about here is goals. So I have found in this business, it is super, super, super important that you set goals for yourself, that you set weekly goals, you set monthly goals, and you set yearly goals. And one of those things that is huge to me is setting booking goals. Every week I have a goal to book at least 12 parties. Now, it doesn't matter if those parties are in, say it's September right now. It doesn't matter if those parties are in September, October, November, December, maybe even January. But I have to book at least 12 parties. If you do that and you're filling in those spaces, then eventually every single week, you're layering parties in your months ahead, and you will always have parties. So at least 12 parties a week is my booking goal. So do the booking tasks every single day. Make sure you don't miss a beat. If you can dedicate 1 hour on a Tuesday, then do what you can do, everything that you can do on Tuesday. But maybe you only have 30 minutes on Wednesday. That's okay. Work that 30 minutes, block that time out, and send your booking messages. These are tasks that need to be done several days a week, every single week. If you get behind, if you miss Wednesday, then make sure you make up sending out those booking messages on Thursday. Because if you don't, what ends up happening is you get busy with this and you get busy with that, and then you go, oh crud, I didn't send out those messages. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and move on to next week. Then you've got a whole week and a whole pool of people that you never even utilized. So yes, you can go back to those people later, but you're more likely to get caught up in moving forward with that than you are to go back and actually do them. I know myself, and I'm not likely to go back into those last weeks. So I make sure that I make time to catch up within that week if I get behind on the week before. And sometimes life does happen. Things happen. People get sick. You get sick. Migraines knock you out, or the car breaks down and you're having to go back and forth, or children need to be run everywhere. It just happens. Just make sure that you set aside an allotted time period every week to get your tasks done. So also the very last thing I want to cover is that you're going to get no's. It's in this business. It's part of this business. You're going to get no's. The first thing that I want to address with that is if somebody is a super hard no, and they're just like, I don't like parties. I don't want to do a party. I don't, whatever their reasoning is, and it's a super hard no. A lot of times I say, thank you so much. If you ever change your mind, please feel free to reach out in the future. But if they leave me a door or a window open that I can uncover what their hesitation is or overcome that objection, you best bet I'm going to be doing that. So if somebody says, well, right now I'm just super, super busy. Totally get it. My online parties are made for super busy lives. And if now is just not a great time for you, what do you think about the fall? And see what they say. And if they say, no, I'm just not interested, thank you if you ever change your mind. So what I do that is I'm just letting them know that I'm here. If they ever want to come back, they can. It happens a good bit of time that some people come back and say, hey, I really thought about it, and I think I do want to have that give an online party a try. Can I try December? And maybe it's October. You're like, absolutely. I need December bookings, right? So that's a good thing. Also, there is an overcoming objection sheet. Make sure you reach out to your upline or your director and get that overcoming objection sheet. There's all kind of objection responses on there, whether they just had a Zaya party or maybe they they think that a lot of times we find out that people think it's going to cost them something, and it's not. It costs $0 to host. They're not required to put in a host order. So a lot of times when I relieve that pressure for them by letting them know it doesn't cost anything, because they may have had a misconception that it was going to cost them something. Or maybe they had a bad experience with a past host, a past consultant. Sometimes that happens. And you are here to show them that it's not as bad as it thinks it is. So many, many times I have hosts come back and say, oh, it was not near as hard as I thought it was going to be. I can't believe I almost didn't do that because I got $115 in free product and it literally only took me 2 or 3 minutes out of my day. I'm like, yes, share that with your friends and see if they want to book too. And a lot of times they will. And then they'll come back and they'll say, hey, Susan, Alyssa, and Janet are going to reach out to you. And what happens when the host has 3 parties booked? 3 parties booked means that when those parties qualify, they get a discounted item at that show. And make sure you reach out to your director and ask them how to redeem that for your past host. If you're brand new, there is a system. Also, if all 3 parties are held within 6 months and they all qualify and they're submitted, that past host gets $50 in free product put right into their account so that they can use anytime. And I always, whenever I get a 3-party booking bonus email, I always make sure I send them a link, just because I always want them to get them in the habit of coming back to me. So that's something that you can do. Also, I want to let you know that you're going to have weeks where it just doesn't come. Just because I have a goal of 12 parties a week doesn't mean I always get it. Sometimes I may only get 4 or 5. Maybe I've somehow gotten into a group of hosts that aren't excited about Pampered Chef, and it just happens. And sometimes it may happen 2 or 3 weeks in a row. But I keep doing the same steps every single day, and eventually it comes back around, and boom, I may get 14 parties. I remember I went on a 2-week drought one time, couldn't get any parties booked. I was like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, in that 3rd week, I got 22 parties booked. It like literally took up for those last couple weeks that I didn't get parties booked. So I was thrilled and ecstatic. So if you get to that point where you start getting discouraged and you think, oh goodness, I'm not getting any parties booked, just keep sending the messages. Always look around and out to see what else can you do. Reach out to your uplines, attend the trainings, go to all the things that have to do with getting parties booked or party tips or anything like that. So as Heather Miller says, learning is earning. So get in there and learn and do all that you can. I thank you all for joining me in this booking training. I hope the information is helpful. Please reach out to myself or your upline for any of the documents that were mentioned in here. They're all shareable, and they are all shareable for you. So I hope you all have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.